Can you engineer Stoke on a team? There are things that you can do that are actions that would generate it, and things you can do that would kill the Stoke. And so if you do these things, even if you don't feel like it, you could probably generate Stoke. And if you avoid doing some of these things, you probably avoid killing the Stoke. And even if you don't feel it, you eventually, I guess, would. These coaching lessons are to help coach people on my team, and maybe if I hit publish on these, anybody else who's working in business with their team. Stoke is a choice, not a feeling. Just like adding value to customers, it's good for them, it's good for the business. Engineering Stoke in the store within our team will be good for us individually, and it's also good for the business. The first thing I'd like to do as a general manager, so partition out what I do real quick. I CEO, chief marketing manager, chief financial officer, I wear a lot of hats. When I'm in GM mode, if I'm just general managing, I'm coming in, how you doing? What are your projects? How you doing on those projects? Things like that. As I walk in as a GM, I think it would be helpful for me and the mindset that I would need to be in, and for you guys to hear every day, that I say some affirmation or positive thing or attaboy or good job or any of these things individually to each person right as I walk in the door. It's like the first thing you hear from me. Ideally, that would be something above and beyond what you do within a clipboard job or a task or a ticket, something that just stood out to me. If not, it could just be the fact you're doing maybe a clipboard job, a task, or a ticket good. Or just, if I'm completely blank, I may not always feel warm and fuzzy, but if I'm at least blank on something, I can come in and compliment somebody just on who they are as a person, because I get to know everybody's personality is pretty good after at least 6 months of working with people. Benefit to that, if that's not obvious, is especially if I'm like, do it really consistently, you know, when I walk in the door that it's coming, nobody minds that. It's a positive thing when the boss walks in rather than a negative thing. It also has to be an intentional checklist to do item for me, as distractions are real. So I can come in, I get really distracted really fast. It's like if it's something I do, just it's an action item, I'm less likely to forget it. Knowing that I have to show up with Stoke, or being able to do that, if I'm going to go down there, I'd have to intentionally think about what's something I'm going to say to everybody. And because I don't want to be caught empty-handed, I would probably journal stuff as I saw it. I would just be in that mindset more often of like, making sure I had something in my quiver to tell you. A way to respond doesn't have to be this weird kumbaya thing. Be as simple as a thank you. Doesn't need to be more than that. And then we get to business. So it's just not this weird, awkward thing. If it makes sense to do something that I did that you liked, because I, believe it or not, am human and like to hear those things as well. Something that either helped the store grow, made your job easier, made your life easier, just something you like. Because I definitely don't know if bosses ever get that in general. Like, it's not something bosses typically get from their employees, right? Is naturally by the nature of the thing. Another thing that we've done that I think has turned out pretty well, it's on the back of the boss sheet, as if you aren't part of the team. We have a boss sheet each day that one person we rotate who's boss for the day. On the back of that is the checklist that we do at 4:30 p.m. to make sure everything got done. And there's always a lot of stuff on there to check off. But we have on there, who did something awesome today? That's been great. If you're boss, that helps you get in the right mindset. And I think that sets the tone for the day, knowing that you're going to have to fill that out as well. I don't know. So something I could do, something you guys can do within the team is show verbal appreciation more intentionally. But we are not all unicorns, and we have unstoke sometimes. How do you manage when you're not feeling warm and fuzzy? We need an outlet for non-stoke to go. I like a better word, a suggestion box. Maybe a form that we fill out that checks off a suggestion was thorough and well thought out. A half-baked suggestion thrown out there, not helpful. You resent the person for saying it. Nothing gets changed. They resent for the fact that it's just not helpful. It'd be nice if, I don't have this currently, a paper that you'd fill out, a Google Doc. We don't have enough Google Docs yet. Of how a suggestion would be filled out. So you just like fill out a suggestion, and then I guess deposit it in one way or another. Like it goes in a spot, so it doesn't just get buried, and then you know that it was read, right? You want to know somebody acknowledged that you've read it. Something that maybe is what a good example would be helpful to have on there. Explain what good data is. If you're like, well, I don't think that'll work because like no other stores do that. I mean, first of all, what do other stores do? How do we do this? Like, it's hard to prove a negative, but if somebody shuts something down or somebody doesn't like something that's currently happening, you could make a suggestion as long as you have some clear data on why that's not good. Data on stuff that's happening within the store. Stuff that what other companies do is not just hearsay. Data, like real data, like snapshot of something written down in a thing that proves that company does that. So many things that were presented to me probably in the last 2 months was literally not true. So I can't work with data that's not accurate. It's the whole premise of the channel, right? We want good data. A clear call to action is really helpful. If you say, oh, I don't like how that works. So what do you want? What do you want, right? Like, if you filled out a good suggestion that required you to stop and think about what that is, you might get a better response. Submit that and you'll get a way better response. Or you'd plant a seed for change. Or you'd feel heard. Or hell, maybe you'd even get what you ask. So depending how you want to ask something, more change is likely to happen if you ask a certain way. So if you're not feeling stoked about something, there is an outlet for that to go. Now, something that kills my stoke sometimes is I will put a lot of thought into a new system idea that I'm working all weekend. It is Saturday afternoon right now. I'm working every night thinking about stuff. It's the only time I have time to think about systems, and I'll put together this really cool idea. I'll put together this whole system. Maybe like we could do a storage shed and we could split the SKUs and have 2 locations and do this thing. And then I'll get hit with resistance. Now I put in hours, if not days of work thinking about a thing, and I put it together and it made a baby, and I present it, let's call it a video, and I publish it. I hope people like it. Not everybody will love it, but I hope somebody likes it. And you get 5 thumbs down in this. You're just like discouraging if that's what happened in the video world. Not too often can I remember people taking a system that I came up with and going, that sounds great. Now, most people don't like change, and I understand that. I accept not everybody's going to love it, but there is a way to challenge it. I challenge you to challenge my systems. Technically, it'd be a ticket if you did it good. And so, challenge the ideas. Don't be oh, that's great, Ryan. Like, don't just do that. Make sure you put thought into a rebuttal and why we shouldn't do that. And have data to back it up and a clear call to action on what you would do instead. Because if I feel like you understand the problem I'm trying to solve, like we don't have room in the store for more stuff. We don't like that. So what am I supposed to do with this massive problem that's like coming our way, right? I can't hear you if I don't feel heard. So that would be, if with suggestion paper, I should probably make this when I'm done with this. Then you would think about it for a little bit, put together your thoughts in a way that I'd be able to go, that's a good point. That would make that a total pain in the ass to manage. Oh, we don't want to go back and forth every day to the storage shed. And then like, okay, how do we solve that problem? Because we solve this problem. Because we have this solution still solves that problem. It's just messy. And like we can like make the thing better so no one's job or life is going to suck as a result of the solution. I complain about vendors a lot. I need to stop doing that. It's not helpful. I don't think they value the work we do here. And then when they're like, here, can you give me a free commercial? And I'm just like, it's the lack of respect. Fuck them, right? I need to stop doing that. It kills the stoke. That's not helpful. They need a way to talk to us about fall 2025, and they need to tell us about their new show specials or whatever. I need an outlet for them. That's what Mike's been doing. He is the brand manager who they talk to. I just do not have time for 70 brands. And so we have an outlet for that. Now we have that relationship they want, a way to maintain that. The other thing I could do is send out an email explaining, hey, this is how you get involved in a video. This is how long it takes. This is like what we need. Suggestion box. If you give me a suggestion with the stuff, like the 3 or 4 things on a suggestion paper, oh my God, the response you would get would be 10x. Same thing with vendors, like, hey, send out monthly email. This is the 2 videos we did with other vendors. They turned out great for these 5 reasons. If you want to get involved, here's 5 things you need to do. They're going to be less likely to ask us for just willy-nilly blanket stuff that offend me. And so then I am now manufacturing ways that set us up for success. But anyways, complaining less about vendors would probably help not kill the Stoke. Maybe we even do something crazy and publicly praise them individually once a week as part of our schedule on what we like about Okun, what we like about Edelrid, and what we like about Black Diamond, because they all have something they bring to the table that's very unique to them as vendors. So instead of complaining, appreciating them. So imagine that. Criticism. I have things I see that are not done correctly, right? I'm the GM. That's just the nature of my job. Criticism is just now, instead of being like a checklist I have to make sure I tell you, it's just data collected as a measuring stick for how people are doing. It feels less like a personal attack for you, and it's just a scorecard if you missed the shot in the game. So what I like about the ticket system is I can celebrate the 25 points you got out of 50 instead of the 25 points you didn't get. Because you're going to be bummed you didn't get the 25 points. But it'll be clear and make sense to you why you didn't get it. And so I don't need to like beat a horse. Like, oh yeah, just make sure it's like put in the playbook next time. Oh, I didn't feel like I didn't even know you did this ticket. Like, I don't know if you get points for micro communication. You're like, you didn't come up with a solution, but you like totally took it over the finish line. This was awesome. You micro communicate, you put in the play, you did all this stuff. I really appreciate these 40 points of value you brought to the table. You just didn't come up with a solution, which is okay. Sometimes people can share tickets and be like, hey, they came up with a solution. They don't have time to do it. You did it. But then I'm celebrating the part you do good. Even if you got 2 points out of 50 and I did the rest of it, now I can now celebrate the 2 points you did do rather than 48 you didn't. So if you don't pack fast enough, as we start to measure time for packing, it's just data. It's like speed versus the or it's free goof ups. Like your ratio, it's average. Good job. I don't have to compare you to the new highest standard or like Gunner's the fastest packer this side of the Mississippi. Why doesn't everybody do it? No, this is the bar that we all agreed on because based on the average of everybody of what they're doing. If somebody's way below it, you're like, hey, how can we teach you how to go faster? I don't take it personally. You're packing slow. How do you pack faster? You got a month to get better at this, or we find something you're better at. Criticism has an outlet now, a constructive outlet. So, creating Stoke. What is something everyone else on the team could do to create Stoke? The store team could text me that. What is something you could do, or what everyone as a team could do? Answer that how you want. The media team. How do we incorporate Stoke into our content? Because there's a lot of people that watch this channel that will never touch a rope in their life. I think they like how much I like the gear and how stoked I am on it. And so I don't even know an answer to that question. I'm just curious, how do you think we incorporate Stoke into our content? And the Slack Snap team is, how do we add Stoke to the Slack Snap product lines? How can we do something to our product or our packaging or the way we either communicate as we sell or follow up with sale that would just add a lot of Stoke to them getting the new machine or load cell. Pretty excited if we all work on this. Even if we get that much better. If I complain that much less, you get better. If I compliment you only half the time I walk in, that'd be better. I want to make this place better. That much. 1% better. All the time. Forever. Cheers.